Hundreds of billions in deals announced today, and here's who's cheering the loudest on the M&A flurry here, the big banks. Here are the ones leading in announced M&A activity so far this year. So not a surprise, you have Goldman Sachs #1, Morgan Stanley #2, J.P. Morgan to top it out, with J.P. Morgan, by the way, holding the lead when it comes to the number of deals on which it is advising. But let's not ignore the smaller boutique firms holding strong in the top 20. Lazard at #9 beats out a lot of other big bank names. You've got Rothschild at 10, Evercore at 13, Guggenheim at 16. So is it worth buying on these major deals announced over the last few days? Not just the companies that are involved, but also the financial and the banking names. Let's take it right to the floor show. Traders at the CME and the NYMEX. Ira, these banks, many of them publicly traded, really tend to benefit, and their stocks show it too later on down the line. Do you like some of these financials on news of this flurry of deals?
Yeah, I told you on the last show that I was on, I think you're going to look at new highs right into the end of the year. I think the NASDAQ is just poised to explode in front of you. And, of course, fees, interest rates going higher, banks able to capitalize on it. Now that we know rates are going to move shortly, this is the M&A time, and that you start your move. So the fall is going to be active as can be, and the election won't hold it back. It's going to move forward.
Does it surprise you that the markets like these deals, many of which will be under the microscope of the regulators?
Yeah, but, you know, you can't grow organically, so they're going to try. If they don't go somewhere, okay, let's assume that the Time Warner deal doesn't work. It doesn't work. But if it does, where does it take AT&T? So you make your move, you see what the Fed's going to do with it, and Fed being the regulators, and you take it the rest of the way with that. But now, if you don't move now and interest rates start moving on you more so than we think they might, where are you left? So you've got to make your move, because organic growth, we're slowing, and we saw that. The worry has been all the way along about corporate earnings. Yeah. Now that we know they're going to trail here a bit, how do you grow? You grow by acquisition.
Doesn't it surprise you, and then I will get to you, Luke, on oil, but that a Rothschild or a Lazard is actually ahead when it comes to, you know, the league, when it looks at these M&A deals and the banks that are really a big part of it, they're ahead of a name like Deutsche Bank, HSBC. That's pretty stunning, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is, but that also tells you maybe their teams are stronger than some of the other teams. I mean, when you go shopping like this, you go boutique shopping. Right. And it's a matter of relationships, and sometimes those relationships and key people are what sell a deal, not necessarily the size of the bank. Okay,
Luke, I want to get to oil right now. While it's still about 55 cents above $50 a barrel in the aftermarket session, what have we warned all of our viewers? Iraq, Iran, and Russia are always those questionable names when it comes to cutting back on the output. And sure enough, oil's down today by 0.5%, in part because Iraq has threatened it will derail OPEC's plan, or at least won't join it. And Russia once again refused to commit too.
Yeah, I find that a little surprising from the Russians, from the Iraqis, maybe not. But, I mean, I've got to tell you, I'm surprised oil is staying above 50 and staying strong, and especially with how the dollar's been acting. So I think right now nobody wants to be short oil. After this last washout, I think a lot of people got hurt. But I think the big story, again, is going to be the difference between distilled products, refined products, and the price of oil. I think those prices are going up. Usage in OPEC-producing countries of distilled products are going up, and there's only limited refining capacity globally. So I think that's going to be the story for the winter.
I think that's interesting. Thank you for bringing that up. That gives you a little bit more of a bullish view when it comes to prices. But Iraq is also saying that they should be exempt from, of course, the output cuts, because they're in the middle of a war in Mosul at the moment, and certainly looking at Kirkuk too. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Ira Epstein, Luke Rahbari. By the way,